So I wanted to do another segment today, talking about something in the news that's also been bothering me. So, from the post millennial, we have a second GOP New Jersey council member fatally shot in 1 week. So, for those of you who've been paying attention to the news, last week there was a woman by the name of, Eunice Dwumfour. This woman was a GOP councilwoman for, I believe, Sayreville. Let's pull that up on the map. So Sayreville is located over here. It's relatively close to New York City, northern end of New Jersey, along the bay, you could say, as the river goes into, what river is that over there? The Raritan River? I'm not sure how to pronounce it necessarily. But yeah, it's located south of New York, south of Newark, south of New York, if that helps in terms of geography. But Eunice Dwumfour, she was killed a week ago on February 3rd, or this article was published February 3rd, I should say. Yeah, this woman was shot 7 times in the face, apparently. Pretty disturbing when you think about that. So, obviously, garnered a lot of attention. You have a politician, a local level politician who got killed. Not something I really want to see any more of, but unfortunately, was it yesterday or today? For the Post Manual, another council member has been shot. This man's from Milford, which, if I have the map correct, it's located on basically the other end of New Jersey. So you have New York over here on the right. On the left, going in, you have Milford right over here. So it's close to which state is next door? Pennsylvania. Yeah, close to the Pennsylvania border. I'm not sure why I didn't know that off the top of my head. For some reason, I need to check. Dumb, right? I know. Once you start talking, though, sometimes it slips your mind. So yeah, Milford's located along a river, the Delaware River, between the New Jersey-Pennsylvania border. If this is the right Milford that I have pulled up, then this is where he was a council member of. Anyhow, let's read this article from the Post Millennial. A Republican New Jersey council member has been shot dead exactly 1 week following the fatal shooting of GOP Councilwoman Eunice Dwumfour. 51-year-old Milford Councilman Russel Heller was found dead on Wednesday just after 7 a.m. in the Somerset parking lot of the local energy company PSE&G where Heller worked, according to the New York Post. Police identified 58-year-old employee Gary Curtis as the suspect and discovered him dead in his car from a suspected self-inflicted gunshot wound. Police say he shot himself around 3.5 hours after he allegedly shot Heller. The fatal shooting of Heller comes exactly 1 week after Sayreville Councilwoman Dwumfour was fatally shot in her SUV outside her home. Heller was found dead around 15 miles from where Dwumfour's body was discovered. Authorities have not connected the shootings with the Somerset County Prosecutor's Office, saying that the shooting of Heller was an isolated incident and he was the intended target. PSE&G issued a statement expressing their sorrow, writing, "We are heartbroken at the tragic death of Russel Heller, senior distributor, supervisor, and at PS&G. Russell was an admired employee and a supervisor over 11 years of service with PSE&G." Okay, so that's their statement. He'll be missed by all. Thoughts and prayers with his family. Basic stuff. New Jersey Governor Phil Murphy wrote on Twitter, "Our thoughts and prayers are with Russel Heller's family and friends in the wake of this tragic act of gun violence." Now, it's nice that he's expressing some sympathy for someone who was killed. I believe they're of the opposite parties. Pretty sure Phil Murphy is a Democrat. Obviously, this guy who got shot, Russell Miller, he was a Republican. But unfortunately, to me, it feels like this is a passive-aggressive turn to politics in the wake of this tragic act of gun violence. See, gun violence is a Democrat slogan or catchphrase for basically whenever someone dies by a gun. I mean, yes, it's violence, it's a gun, but it's a loaded term. It carries with it a certain set of ideas that he's trying to push. It may be subtle, but it's still there. So, I don't know. I would take issue with it. GOP Rep. Tom Keene of New Jersey wrote, "I am shocked and saddened by the tragic murder of Milford Councilman Russel Heller. Russell was an outstanding public servant who proudly represented the river town he loved. My prayers are with his family and the Milford community." So yeah, it's nice of him, and that's kind of the end of the article. Similar articles are from Yahoo News. Second Republican New Jersey councilman fatally shot. USA Today. 2 New Jersey council members have been fatally shot 1 week apart, authorities say. I wanted to talk about this just because, in the wake of the amount of chaos that's been going on in terms of political violence. I mean, this isn't quite as bad as summer 2020, but it's happening. And for these two people to be shot a week apart in the same state, I mean, it's not like it's a big state. New Jersey's a pretty small state. If I had to get from one end of New Jersey to the other, I could do it relatively easily. Take Texas, where I am, for example. If I want to get to the other side of Texas, let's say it goes from Brownsville, Texas, southernmost point, all the way up to the end of the Panhandle in the north. That could be like a 12-hour car trip minimum. It would take you essentially all day to get there. By the time you get to the other end, it's pretty much nighttime. It's time to stop driving. And it's pretty much the same for the other way around. If I were in, I don't know, say Lubbock, and I wanted to go all the way to El Paso, that's probably another 12, maybe even 16-hour drive. It's a long ways, assuming you're going by the speed limit, because, well, why would you assume anything else? But with all this political violence that's been going on, I mean, you have these two people who are killed, they're relatively close apart. They've had a New York Post article. Let's see if we can pull it back up. New York Post, where are you? Let's change our search word. Councilman. Actually, you know what? The Post Millennial linked to it. Why don't we just go there? Let's see, New York Post. Open. See, now this is not what I wanted. Oh well. Let's just go back to Google. New York Post. There we go. All right. Let's see. Now, I believe the New York Post specifically, or they specified that the bodies were 15 miles apart. Yeah. The councilman's murder came exactly a week after Sayreville Councilwoman Dwumfour, also Republican, was gunned down in her SUV outside her home about 15 miles away. Her murder remains unsolved. So, yeah, pretty close together. I mean, there is a party that really wants to believe that all these things are not connected. But there's also a logical part of me that says, what are the odds of that? You have these Republican council people who are getting shot and killed in a time when there's large amounts of political, I guess you can say, strife or political conflict. I mean, the nation's pretty polarized as it is. You've seen lots of violence from groups like Antifa or BLM. So if I had to take a guess, I'd say that it's probably politically motivated. Now, that's not the official narrative that's coming out. The official narrative is that these are isolated incidents. In the case of, was it Councilman Russel or whatever? He's already been, I guess you can say, in the case of the Milford guy, he was killed through separate circumstances, I guess kind of because they already found the suspect. He had shot himself in his car. I mean, I seriously doubt that it's going to be some sort of a grand conspiracy where this guy shot and killed himself to protect a larger Antifa conspiracy to go around killing tons of Republican councilmen. The odds that there's a conspiracy that big are kind of ridiculous. Granted, I haven't seen anyone speculating something like that, but I don't know. Some people may go so far as to speculate that kind of thing. It could be very possible that just some sort of a personal disagreement or personal anger between the two. Over what? I don't know. Maybe it was over politics. I mean, just because these things aren't related doesn't mean that these things aren't necessarily still politically motivated. In the case of Eunice Dwumfour, I mean, I would think it's politically motivated. She was shot in her SUV. Maybe it's personal, maybe not. I don't know. It just seems like too big of a coincidence. But that's been going around in the news. I think it's important to talk about, or at least mention, so that people are aware of. Hopefully, you don't have to see more of this stuff, but if there is, it'll probably show up in the news. I'll probably be forced to see it. I don't know. Thoughts and prayers that things remain peaceful, that a better world can be created, that we don't have to keep killing each other over political disagreements. I have my own strong opinions. That being said, I don't want people to die. I don't want killing or death. Because once you open that door, there's no real shutting it. Things just get worse very quickly. All right, well, that's all I have for this segment. Thanks for listening. Consider liking and subscribing. Have a good day. Bye.